So the Democrats are trying to do damage control to the best of their abilities. They are trying. They are desperately trying. Because shout out to our brother Melrose again. Shout out to him. Melrose went to the National Action Network, or the Nothing Action Network, actually. And he pretty much called them out. He called out the Democrats and the Republicans as well, too. But, that's not a good look, okay? Because they need this momentum. They really don't have any. So they're building this momentum up. And what we did is we called out the hypocrisy of them fighting the good fight for the grassroots. We called that out. Now what they're trying to do, they're going on different things, and they're trying to manipulate some way into saving face, which they can't do because we're here and we're not going to let them do that.
The price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
I want to thank you all for being here. We're going to get started. We're just going to get started, okay? Earlier today, I was on a live stream on TikTok. Shout out to For the Culture. I was on live stream, and somebody let me know that Al Sharpton was on live. So I guess he has a radio station or something of the sort, and he goes on live. Al Sharpton was on live. He had a call-in thing. I tuned in. It was towards the end when I found out about it, so I wasn't really able to call in or anything like that because he was wrapping it up. And first off, let me tell you something else. His commercial breaks are we don't do commercial breaks over here. I guess maybe that's a radio thing. Well, I mean, I've been on radio, so that is a radio thing. But his commercial breaks are long. Like for YouTube, normally you don't really see them doing commercial breaks unless they're, giving a commercial for their advertisement, and sometimes they do that when people have ads, but his commercial breaks are long. Going back to it, he starts off, because we're going to get to certain points, but he starts off with this.
First thing they want to weigh in. First thing, though, is this is tax day. And it made me think about those of us that have been advocating for years now about reparations. And many of us have been committed to that and remain committed. And just 2.5 weeks ago, I addressed the United Nations on reparations. President of Ghana had me come with him, and they wanted to vote. United States, Israel, and Argentina voted against the vote, but they wanted to vote that the UN should condemn the Atlantic slave trade and pay reparations, repair the damage done, and now they're going to bring it to the World Court, which is why it amazes me.
Okay, so right now he's confessing to a crime. We already established this right here is a takeover of the reparations movement that we have built here in the States. This right there, what Ghana attempted to do was a takeover. If you guys want to go back and listen to our last live streams where we did thorough breakdowns of that, you guys can feel free to do so after this. But that's what that was. And he's a part of that. He's a part of that. And he's confessing to it right now as if he's doing something for the grassroots. Now, let me just get this off the screen again. Now, out of all of the tasks, now we had 2 reparations rallies. We've had a whole bunch of reparations task force. We had task force in California, task force in New York where he's at. You had task force all over the place, different commissions and all of that. Have you seen Al Sharpton at one? I'm asking for a friend. Have you seen Al Sharpton at one? Have you seen Al Sharpton on his own volition get up there and advocate for reparations? Now, he made a whole big, huge deal about the end of DEI when he was sitting up there advocating for Costco, black people to go to Costco, as if Costco is some type of harem for the black community. But you didn't see that type of energy when reparations was shut down in California, or any of the stalling tactics against reparations. So now all of a sudden, because Ghana is trying to get their foot in the mix and take it over, Now all of a sudden he's right there locking arms with him and marching with him and all that stuff. Okay, he's confessing to the fact that he tried to essentially sabotage our reparations. That's because that's what that was. All right.
When people tell me that all I want is reparations, I don't believe in voting. That's like saying, well, all I want to do is live, but I don't believe in breathing. You cannot get reparations unless you have officials that are in the government that vote for reparations. So then another group of smarties come along.
That's not okay. This is their attempt, because what they're doing is damage control. We're learning right now. We're not just we roasting them. We're roasting them, but I also want us to learn their tactics. Their tactic is to use a straw man argument. Let me break that down. I'm sure, I mean, y'all have known me for years, right? So y'all know what that is, but I'm going to explain it just in case that we might have newer people. Shout out to y'all. A straw man argument is for you to rebuttal an argument from the opposition that was not made. So you're artificially making an argument for them, whether you're just making it up out of nowhere or whether you're misconstruing their argument to form some type of Frankenstein argument, some fake argument, a straw man argument on their behalf, and then you're going to rebuttal that argument or that talking point. That's what he's doing at this moment right now. Nobody's saying, I don't want to vote, but I want reparations. Nobody's making that argument. People are saying, we're not just going to give you the vote for nothing. If reparations was on the table, you wouldn't have an issue with the black vote. However, you want the black vote without reparations. And you, to be honest, we've been giving it to them. Last 60-something years now. We've been giving it to them. Now we saying, hey, at this point, y'all gonna have to pay something. Y'all gonna have to do something. What's going on? Y'all not gonna get the vote any longer without reparations. Now you be all like, man, y'all don't want to do nothing. Y'all don't want to vote. Y'all don't want to do that. No. That's a straw man argument because that's not our stance. All right.
Say, well, they've had the HB 40 for years and couldn't get the votes. That's correct. Just like we were in slavery 246 years before we got emancipation. You keep fighting. You don't have a fantasy. And a lot of people, I mean, do you think they're going to give us reparations because you got an attitude? Because you mad? They got places for you that are mad. This can happen. Now, I know some of y'all think we'll never get it. Some people thought we never have a black president. We did. This can happen.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
If we put the right people in office and challenge that as we go. We first got to get the Affordable Care Act back, save voting rights, then go to that step. That's why, you know, those of you that came to Nan's convention last week, it is very likely that one of those people walk across that stage is going to be the next president of the United States. I don't know who it is. We had 10 of them. Everybody but Newsom came. Newsom couldn't get out of his family thing, whatever that was. And we have done this 26 years because if you invite everybody, ask them the questions or let them speak, know that one of them may be the president. When we did it in 2007, everybody came, one of them became president, Barack Obama.
Now, I think what he said right here is very interesting, and we're going to break that down. If you have a convention and you're having a bunch of candidates that could be the president, so he did have Kamala, he had J.B. Pritzker, that's the governor of Illinois, he had Wes Moore, that's the governor of Maryland, he had Josh Shapiro, that's a senator. So he had a number of people who are potential candidates for the presidency, okay? And he's done that before, and he's had Biden up there before, he's had Obama up there before. What would have been better is if you're really grassroots, why don't you give the people the microphone and let the people talk to the potential candidates. That's what you would do if you're really thorough and legit. You would let the people talk. But notice he didn't allow for open mic until after all of the candidates left. When it was the candidates up there, it was just him and the candidate. And there was a whole bunch of vetted softball questions. He didn't let the people address the candidate or potential candidate. He addressed the candidate. And the thing is that he's making it seem as if this is some type of vetting process that they have to go through for the community, but you're not letting the community even say anything. So we can't even give you credit for that. I can't even give you credit for that.
We did it 2-3 terms later. Everybody walked across that stage. One of them became president, Joe Biden. So if you acclimate people when they run it on what you want to know, make your commitments, and you know who we are, then you've got the ability to go to them once they're in. There's a strategy to this. Being angry and hollering and screaming is not a strategy. It may get it off your chest, and I understand that. I understand the need to get it off your chest.
No. He said, well, if we get in good graces, which is the tactic that they have been using. They've been using this, and we got to learn from this. They've been using the, well, if we can get it off, if we can get good with them and getting their good graces, then once they get in the position, then we can, have a conversation with them and have a deal with them, as long as we, talk to them and we shake hands and we get in good graces. Y'all said that with Biden. Y'all said, look, I'm just doing this, and if this is some type of a chess move, right? This is a chess move. Don't worry about it. I got you. I'm just going to shake in his hand, and we're just going to have lunch and all that, and we're going to help him out. And then once he gets in there, then he's going to, I guess, feel like he owes us something. So don't worry. This is all part of the plan. That's what they said with Biden. That's what they said with Obama. His first term, his second term, they said, don't worry. We got to help him out. No. We're not going to do that. And here's the thing. It would be one thing if you was up there and you was really like vetting them and you was really thorough with it. They came up there. You didn't even mention reparations. They came up there. This was essentially a prep rally. That's what this was. This wasn't no vetting process that you're going to have to answer to the community before we give you our vote. This was not that. This was a prep rally. This was to galvanize people to support who you wanted to support. He already knew who he wanted to support before he invited everybody there. He just had to invite everybody there to seem unbiased, but he wanted to support Harris. We can already tell. And he had everybody else come up there just to not seem biased. Now, the thing is that when you invited Harris up there, fine, but you didn't press Harris on anything. You didn't press her on any potential policies or anything. Now, she hasn't confessed that she's officially running. She's thinking about it, which we already know what that is. But he didn't ask about reparations. He's sitting up there talking about, well, we got to get in good with them first, and then after they get in the office, then we already got a relationship with them, and then we can get them to vote for reparations. No, that has never worked. If they are not, listen, y'all, listen. If they are not going to make a commitment before getting in office, then there is no way you have any type of room to hold them accountable after they're in. You cannot hold anybody accountable to a commitment they never made. It would be one thing if they was all like, yep, the second I get in, even though HR 40 is not reparations, the second I get in, I'm going to sign HR 40. I'm going to sign an executive order for HR 40, which she was asked, and she said no. Remember that. Remember, Harris was asked if she would sign an executive order for HR 40, and she said no, she would give it to Congress. She said that when she was interviewing in 2024, the black journalist or something, I'm forgetting the name, but the black journalist. She said she was going to give it to Congress. So that's a no. That means she's not going to do anything. Okay. And he didn't ask about that. So all of that, man, this is some type of chess move. He's trying to frame this as some type of genius chess move. He's playing 3D chess, and we just can't see it. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Shout out to every single last one of y'all in here. We blowing up right now. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, please, and thank you. All right, we're going to move forward. Like this was close to a 3-hour thing, but the commercial breaks are like 15 minutes long. So, okay, gonna get to about right here. Damn, come on.
Something today, and I'm gonna try to get to as many as I can. I've got to go. Martise Chisholm's writing on our message board. She leads our chapter in Tennessee. Said when I was sitting on the stage at the National Action Network convention, when the young man asked everyone to raise their hands, Maggot is desperate. I want our young people to know vote is not a strategy. No vote is a surrender. The young people in my family will be voting in 2026 for their great-great-grandmother who lost her life in 1966 fighting for our right to vote. And you are absolutely right, Martise. But let me say this: you're gonna have a lot of confusion, purposely traffic through our community, through the airwaves, through television over the next few months because of the midterm elections, and they're gonna try to get people not to vote so they can keep the Republicans in. And they're going to use people to try and also set a climate for 28. Now, everybody that's running around yelling no vote and all kind of foolishness are not agents. Some are just swayed by agents and ignorant enough to go with their emotions and not think through what somebody's telling them. So they get them up. Oh, y'all shouldn't listen to that. Get reparations, and never ask, well, how are we supposed to get them? Now, some of them outright agents and provocateurs. Get used to them.
Now, he's an agent. So you know, while he's using the word agent, he's projecting. He's an agent. He's already admitted to being a federal agent. But okay.
Because you're going to have to live with them for the next few months. And I'm ready for them. Because all my career, you've had that. And, you know, my mother used to tell me, I quoted it this morning on my morning thoughts I do on Instagram, that she's from the South, born and raised in Dothan, Abbeville sections of Alabama. I came north and met my father, married, and had me and my sister. She said, so you don't know nothing about farming, Al. She said, if you go out to a farm in Alabama or anywhere where they have farming, and you see a pile of hogs, if you take a brick and throw it, the hog that hollers is the one you hit. They're hollering now. Look at Trump, talking about the Pope, talking about what he's going to do to Iran, bring them back to the Stone Ages, talking about this, that, and the other. He's hollering. And you see people call my show, other shows on the message board, I'm against voting. Voting don't mean nothing. Everybody's a racist. Because you hit them or their sponsors. That's why they squeal. Guy said to me, I read that 40 years ago, you was informing on the mafia to the feds. Oh, so you with the mafia? Yeah, I informed to the feds about Trayvon Martin, too, and about George Floyd. The federal government's supposed to be getting gangsters out of taking black artists' money. Oh, I didn't look at it like that. Just noise. Why do you think we made Eric Holder the Attorney General? So we'd be over federal law enforcement. We ain't trying to be criminals.
Yeah, see, then I wanted to play that part because the whole you're a federal agent thing that's getting to you. Here's the thing. If you were going to be a rat on the mafia, it's not like you were just cooperating. You were a rat. If you're literally willing to be a rat for the government on the mafia, how are we supposed to trust that, oh, I'm just going to be a rat against the mafia, but I'm not going to be a rat against the community? how are we supposed to trust that? You're sitting up there, you have the audacity to call other people an agent with no proof whatsoever, yet there is proof that you were a rat and you want the community to overlook you being an official rat for the United States government, at least to the degree that we know, because there's probably stuff that we don't even know at this moment, but there's a lot of stuff we do know and we're calling you out on it, yet you got the audacity to call Melrose a rat? To call us agents? You all see that? Now he's trying to save face. He's attempting to save face because of all of that agent stuff. Because you can't. That's the pot calling the kettle black with that one. I'm gonna fast forward because there's another thing. I mean, he kind of just rambles a little bit sometimes. So we're gonna get to this. And here's the thing, he take commercials all the time, like I guess he is on the radio, I don't know, man, but he take commercials all the time. It's exhausting.
At nationalactionnetwork.net and go to our live stream. Tanya Stovall is saying finally something has made some of the MAGA people wake up. Forensic accountant. Yeah. They're gonna have a lot more than that if we stay on it, and we are gonna stay on it. Tanya Stovall saying that also Trump will be a lame duck either way, and hopefully the 25th Amendment will take on a new look at this time. We can certainly keep putting the pressure on. Rodney Jones, the mayor from Queensbridge Housing, said, I met Miss Olivia and Disco Bryan and others at the 35th National Convention. They were calling me the mayor of Queensbridge. I had a couple of fans wanting to take selfies with me. Thank you, my shepherd. Yeah, they should. They need to know people out here, freedom fighters, that's really fighting. And thank you for your call. Let me go to, now I always go to Deshaun and he hang up. Let's see if Deshaun gonna be on this time. Deshaun from Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I'm here, Al. I don't have a problem with voting, but we have to admit it's a sunk cost fallacy.
It's
You've
what?
all been voting Democrat since before. A sunk cost fallacy.
Who's been voting Democrat?
Do you know what that is, or do you need me to explain it?
You can explain it, yes.
Black people.
Black people's
Well,
been voting
whatever.
Democrat.
So you've been voting Democrat since
No, when I was born, we were
before
voting.
Motown had their first day.
Well, we've been voting Democrats since Democrats gave us the Civil Rights Act. Before that, we was voting Republican, which means that we're intelligent enough to vote for people that support us. When I was born, my parents was voting Republican.
Okay.
Okay, well.
Okay. And as I was saying, okay, calm down, Al. I know you're triggered
Wait a minute,
these days, but I'm getting to it.
You're the one that seems to be less than calm. I just answered your facts were wrong. We were not always voting Republican. That's all. There's nothing to get excited about.
We've been voting Democrat all these years. We was on the bottom then, and we're still on the bottom.
And we
now.
voted Republican many years. We voted Republican many years. And we were on the bottom. Republicans or Democrats, Deshaun ain't gonna save us. We're gonna have to use either side to save ourselves step by step.
Yes. Can I please finish?
Mm-hmm.
And the point I'm trying to make is that we cannot put all of our faith in voting. And you all get an attitude with me when I say we need to rebuild the Black community. You accuse me of working for Donald Trump when I said that Black kids need to learn how to code.
I did not.
Why would Donald Trump
I'm not going to allow you to lie. I never said you work for Donald Trump because you said Black kids need to code. What are you talking about? I never said that. I don't think you work for Donald Trump. I said that we need to rebuild the Black. I said we need to rebuild the Black family. And I agree. Make sure our kids need to code. I agree.
And then when you muted me and said I work for Donald Trump.
No,
just like you said
that Donald Trump and other things that he did not do, that he did, and he did not do. And that's what I said. I didn't say that you work for Donald Trump because he wanted to build a black. Donald Trump ain't trying to build a black community. Donald Trump has not told you that he's trying to build a black community at all. I don't even know why we trying to act like he's doing something that he ain't trying to act like he's doing.
Yeah, you're right. So again, and like at the convention when Melrose was trying to call out this voting stuff, I actually thought you were way out of line the way you were. Melrose, the young brother, FBA brother, who was talking about voting, and then you got up there.
Now, before he goes into first off, shout out to Melrose again. Before he goes into that, let me talk about the situation with the voting. All right, let's talk about that part. Black people, I'm sure this is something that a lot of people know. Black people used to be Republican for the most part. Dr. King was even a Republican. It wasn't until after the Civil Rights Act was signed by Lyndon B. Johnson, who was a Democrat, did the loyalty, the political loyalty, shift from Republican to Democrat. After Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, then the political loyalty shifted, and Black people have been reliable Republican voters, Democrat voters since then. All right. So for him to be all like, well, I mean, we did used to be a Republican. We did used to be a Republican. The point is that the Civil Rights Act was generations ago, and Black people have been consistently loyal. We've been just as loyal. The only thing now is within the last, I would argue, decade, there's been shifts and cracks, and the loyalty is starting to fade away. All right. But besides that, Black people have been steadfast when it comes to our support for the Democrats, giving them the House, giving them the Senate, giving them the presidency, giving them the local elections that they needed, all of that, all of it. So for him to make, and he can't rebuttal this, he can't debunk that because that's a fact. So he's all like, oh, well, I mean, we used to be Republican. What does that matter? What the point that was being made is that we've been showing an abundance and we've amount of loyalty and have not received anything for that. That was the point. The point was, okay, yeah, we backed them up with the Civil Rights Act, but what have we had since then? Now, I can give you a whole long laundry list of all the other things that other people have had since then, but you can't give me anything about what we have had since then. So why are we still supporting them? Now, we've been more loyal than anybody else, and they've gotten more out of it than us. That is the point. You can make an argument, well, we used to support the Republicans. That's not the point at all. That's not the point at all. Now he's going to talk about Melrose. Let's go.
And make this grandiose speech saying he was a paid agent and called the brother stupid.
Well, first of all, if the brother had an opinion and he came and stated his opinion, and we didn't stop him at our convention, we let him finish, didn't we? So then, let me get this right. He's supposed to be able to say what he want to say, tell everybody is a racist, that old folk ought to sit down. He can get up there and say all of that, and we're not supposed to use our mic to answer him. See, the problem they got is they think they can take shots and people don't fire back. If you take a shot, then you expect people to shoot back. We didn't stop him from saying what he had to say. Now you want to censor me from responding?
No, Al. What I'm trying to say is you should have talked to that young brother face to face like a man.
He walked out. He got up and cussed everybody out and left. I would have met with him if he had walked up.
Oh, okay. And I'm glad Melrose called in and said no. It wasn't like he got walked out. Y'all pretty much escorted him out right after he was done. Y'all followed him out damn near of the whole hotel. And that was before, Al, you walked out. You didn't walk out immediately until he left. Melrose had called in and said that himself. And he didn't curse anybody out either. That's not what happened. He said that the most offensive thing that you could say he said was that the older people don't speak for or can't relate to the youth. That's not offensive to them. They can't. There's a generational gap, and he called that out. He called that for what it was. He didn't call nobody stupid like Al Sharpton did. He didn't assume anybody is an agent or accuse anybody of being an agent, even though they are agents. Al Sharpton, even though he didn't accuse anybody of that like Al Sharpton did. He called Biden a racist, Harris a racist, and Trump a racist. All right. Those are the people you can make an argument that he insulted. So it's not like he was all like, F you and you're dumb. No, that's not what he did. That's not what he did.
He walked in here now and said he wanted to talk. I would talk and hear his opinion and want him to hear mine. He walked out, which is why I said either you stupid or you an agent. And I repeat that because it's stupid to get up and condemn everybody and leave, or it's an agent work that you were there so that you can put something out there so that the Republicans can say, oh, somebody said so-and-so. It's one or the other. Now, if he came back, I would be glad to sit down and talk with him. I talk to people every day that disagree with me. But if you're going to grab a mic and scream and holler and then walk out the door, what am I supposed to do but think that you set up some kind of way?
We saw the reaction, y'all. They were damn near trying to take the mic from him in the middle of him speaking. We saw that. We literally saw that. And then he also called in and confirmed that. So they're making it seem like he got up there, started screaming, which he didn't. He was very calm. He was collected. He said what he had to say. He didn't raise his voice. His tone was the same as all of the other speakers, but he did say what he had to say. It was the fact that what he said goes against your narrative and doesn't reflect well on you. Now, all of a sudden, that's cursing people out and screaming. Next, you going to say he was threatening folk.
Okay, I can respond now?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying that that's the reason why my generation hates the civil rights generation. Because you all seem like it's your way or the highway. You're not open to new ideas. I hate the civil rights generation as much as I hate KD. He's a total fraud. Well, but I like him more than I like the civil rights generation.
Well, first of all,
he'll be
what is the age group of the civil rights generation?
Baby boomers.
Martin Luther King wouldn't have been a baby boomer. And they were civil rights. Du Bois wouldn't have been a baby boomer, and that was civil rights. So I mean, okay. I think that there are people in every generation, including yours and mine, that have disagreements, and many that have different strategies, different ways. And I think that
absolutely. And one last thing.
Wait. I'm gonna let you finish after you let me finish. And I don't hate your generation. And if you hate mine, fine. But I don't speak for all of my generation. There's many in my generation that don't agree with me. And guess what? There's many in your generation that don't agree with you. So you don't speak for a generation, and neither do I.
Absolutely. And Kamala Harris is not FBA. There's not one person in her family who's an American descendant of slaves. As a matter of fact, on her dad's side, they were slave owners. So it's kind of offensive to call her black. It's not.
Well, I think
she's black, lady, white.
I think that Kamala Harris's father is a black Jamaican, and she's black in my book.
No, he's Hindu. He's Hindu and Irish. How does that equal?
He
black?
Is not Hindu and Irish. That's not true. We can have different opinions, but not different facts. But let me tell you something.
So,
well, okay. Let me go into the whole thing about her dad. Her dad's father, her grandfather, is Irish, is of Irish descent. Okay. Her dad's mother, I've seen conflicting reports on that, and I'm gonna have to pull some stuff up on that. But her dad's mother, even if we want to say her dad's mother was black, that would make her dad half black. We know for a fact at best he's half black. He's mixed. Okay. Her mom is a full-fledged Hindu Indian. Okay. So that means of the 4 grandparents that every single person in the world has, of the 4, only one of them would be black. Only one of the 4 grandparents would be black, and that makes you black, you at least gotta have 2. I almost be all like, all right, okay, maybe she's mixed. I can't even give you the mixed argument if only 1 of the 4 is black, and then the jury is still out on that one. The jury's still out. That's not even a confirmed thing. And even if she was under the category, the racial category of black, she's not a foundational black American. She's not a foundational black American. She was not raised around foundational black Americans. She damn near was not raised fully in America either. She moved to Canada when she was young, and then only came back to go to college. So no. You don't get to, well, in my opinion, she's black. Okay, that's that 1 drop rule nonsense.
Yeah, like
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Deshaun. If Kamala Harris was a blonde, blue-eyed white woman from Virginia and stood up for affordable health care and police reform and all the other things, and Donald Trump was against that, I would support the blonde, blue-eyed white woman from Virginia. So I don't have to prove her blackness. I can stand by what her record is and what Trump was. The choice was between her and Trump. The choice wasn't whether I prove she's black.
Okay. First off, police reform and all that stuff, I don't know where you getting that from, because when they had the opportunity to push that, y'all didn't go with that. Y'all didn't. But here's the thing. If you want to argue policy, fine. Which should be the main reason. It doesn't matter if she's black or white or Indian or anything like that. Policy should be the most important thing. Male, female, black, white, gay, straight, fat, skinny, young, old, none of that matters over policy. Okay. But if that's the case, why are you guys shoving she's a black woman down everybody's throats? Why are you guys doing that then? Because when we make the argument that she's not black, y'all be all like, well, it doesn't matter. It's about the policy. Okay. Why do y'all keep bringing up her being quote unquote black if that's the case? You all were the ones who made it a point to emphasize her blackness. That was them who made that a point. It was them who emphasized that, so they can wag their fingers and be all like, you don't want to support a black woman? What a black woman got to do to get a vote? That's what they started doing. So it was them who made her being black a big deal. All right. There was him or her who did that. Listen, if Kamala was a foundational black American and she was the way she is now, all things the same except her lineage, she wouldn't have my support either. There's a whole bunch of foundational. We was just talking about Al Sharpton's a foundational black American, and we clearly don't support him. So it's not even about that over the policy. But don't sit up there and try to manipulate people into feeling ashamed for their lack of support for her out of some racial solidarity that you're trying to dangle over people's head. They're trying to be all like, man, we got to stick up for the sister. She a sister. No, don't do that. That's why y'all tried to make her black.
Talking about whether she's FBA. Yeah, I'm not talking about
fine. Whether she SDA or not, that's not why I supported her. That's whether she is that or not. I'll give you that. Now, let's go by who said what in terms of what they're going to do for us or not. She stood up at our convention and said she supported reparations. Does Donald Trump support us?
When did she say that? No, she didn't. Now you just lying. Now he's just you just lying. That's a full-fledged lie. You didn't even bring that up. And every single time reparations is asked, there's all this vague, what we have to understand is that we don't start at an equal footing. And we have to tell the truth about that. I know it like a script at this point. When you bring up reparations, she's going to go, well, we have to understand that we didn't start at an equal footing, and we have to tell the truth about that. That's why I propose my Opportunity America in the Lift All Boat program, because when all boats are lifted, your boat is even more lifted. She's done that every single time, y'all. I damn near get her response memorized at this point, but I can't memorize it from his thing because he never brought it up.
in reparations?
That's BS. You know that. You know she's not supporting any reparations.
She said
That's
it.
BS.
She said it.
You know that. And I know it.
So now, so when she told Sheila Jackson Lee, who sponsored the bill in Congress, that I'll support it, she was lying, because you don't want to answer the question I asked, because Donald Trump is the one to say we'll never get it. So if you condemn her, who said she supported, why aren't you condemning Donald Trump, who said he wouldn't support it?
But because the conversation is not about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not up for re-election in 2028. You all are trying to push somebody for 2028. So now the conversation is not about Donald Trump. It's about the next presidential candidate. That's why.
See, the
I
problem,
condemn them all. But Sheila Jackson Lee wasn't FBA either. She was Jamaican.
So was Marcus Garvey.
And Sheila Jackson Lee and Marcus Garvey, they don't support reparations either. That look, and HR 40, y'all, is a stalling tactic that they only ever bring up when they need some votes. It's a move they only pull out when they need some votes, and they know they can't actually pass it. When there's a lot of Republicans in the House or the Senate, or there's a Republican president, then here comes HR 40 when they need some votes. Okay, it's an ace up their sleeve, like, hey, you know what? HR 40. Then when they get the House, when they get the Senate, they got Congress, when they get the presidency, you don't hear about HR 40. You don't hear them bring up HR 40. So all it is, well, we've been trying so hard for HR 40. Damn, when is that going to happen? You got illegals in the tens of millions up here living high off the hog, off of the taxpayer, doing God knows what, committing crimes, doing all this and that. And yet you talking about you've been pushing HR 40 for decades? Okay, really? You think we stupid? That's what you think.
Marcus Garvey ain't up here telling me who I have to vote for.
But he left a lot of books about what you ought to do. You see, the problem y'all got with me, that's why the guy ran out the room, is that I can go back and forth. I grew up in the streets. I know all of this. So you can't run the mess here. Because we're gonna have a conversation, and a lot of stuff y'all cannot answer. We should have this dialogue. And you should say what you got to say, and I say what I got to say. But you calling people one generation is some way. Ain't no whole generation, nothing. We always had differences in generations. Stop that. Let's be able to talk to each other rather than at each other. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Okay. So he has to take another bathroom break. And as he's doing that, let me get to the super chats. Since he's taking a break, let's get these super chats out the way. Shout out to Bebe. I appreciate you. She says, I messaged the national and local DNC that I will not donate or vote Democrat until FBA reparations is part of the platform. Hey, shout out to that. I like that. Letting them know what it is. Then she continues to say, someone is supposed to contact me to discuss. I'm not holding my breath. Yeah, don't. Yeah, they always say that. Oh boy, they always say that. Yeah, we'll get back to you in the next few business days. Sure. Okay. Yeah, let them know. Let them know. Let them know not only, oh, we just don't want to support because we don't like you. No, this is what we want. And y'all keep playing like y'all don't know what it is. Okay, we just gonna see who lasts longer then. You or this couch. That's what we're gonna see. Okay. Dakota Jenkins says 99% of the quote elders were bought. And his thing, yeah. Okay. We're 30 years away from zero wealth. Yeah, I mean, that is a concern. Okay. They want us happy with catfish and bathtub collard greens instead of resources. They do. They do. And that's a good point. All of the people there, how many people were there that were a part of his organization, in his network? They were of course, they're going to sit up there and sing his praises. The one person who came up there and pushed against that, pushed and didn't even push against Al Sharpton personally. It's not like it was a personal attack of Al Sharpton or a personal attack against anybody in the room, but this was stating a fact. And he got up there, Al Sharpton, and upped it. He took it up a notch. Now he's wanting to talk about how other people were cursing people out and yelling and all of that. No, that's not what that was. And then Fiction says the couch might win midterms. Hey man, the Democrats need to learn what to do, and it don't look like they doing it because this is the person that they backing. These are the people who are out here telling us. These are the people who are out here telling us that we need to stop MAGA and stop MAGA. Okay, well, stopping MAGA is one thing. I don't support MAGA. I'm not MAGA. I get it. Okay, cool. Stop MAGA. But what are we going to replace MAGA with? That is better than MAGA. Let's think about that. Stop MAGA. Yeah. Stop him. Beat Donald Trump. Yeah. Okay. What next after Donald Trump? What is better than Donald Trump? What is the next agenda? What is the agenda that the Democrats are pushing? What is their agenda? What is their version of America that we can get behind? Notice they're not saying that. There's no version, there's no agenda, there's no platform that people can get behind, that they're promoting, that they're pushing, that they're about. That's why they're not saying it. All they're saying is, well, MAGA? That's all we need to talk about. That's all we need to think about. MAGA, 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 Trump, 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 Trump. Okay? And let's not think about anything else. That's what it is. Okay, you beat Donald Trump, then what? You beat Donald Trump. You beat MAGA. You beat the Republicans. They're gone. Now what? Now what are we going to do? Well, let's just talk about Donald Trump till we get to that. No, we're not doing that. No. And that's the whole thing. It's MAGA, MAGA, Trump, Trump. And they're not going to convey an actual agenda because they know that their agenda is radioactive. They know that their agenda is going to turn people off. They know once they say, well, this is our platform, we're going to look at that and be like, what? No, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. MAGA don't seem that bad compared to you now. That's what they know people are going to do, which is why they're not even talking about an agenda. Their whole agenda is reflective of MAGA. And they're relying on that. Let's get back to it. Hold on. It was one point. Boy, these commercial breaks, man.
For her twice, so if anybody looked black, she looked closer to black than Donald Trump. I'll tell you that. But let me say this though, but when you ask her in terms of her running again, thank you so much, man, because we as the black community, she won the first time. There's no question about it. And the black folks showed out the majority. So we can do it again. And Reverend Al, let me suggest this, that we in the black community should galvanize. Hopefully she will show some enthusiasm and run again. We should support her 100% in this primary. Now, if she loses the primary, then we can back whatever nominee that gets that position. But I think we as a black community should show 100% support for that sister, 100%, in my opinion. Does that make a little bit of sense, Reverend?
Make a lot of sense. Thank you for your
call.
call.
Lord, can we get some tomatoes in a chat room? God, jeez. We should back her 100%. And if she doesn't win, we should back the next Democrat. Boo. Okay.
And your perspective. Tricia is on the message board saying HR 40, which is reparations, has been introduced. Representative Presley, Representative Yana Presley, was the keynote speaker at our women's luncheon during the convention this year. She proposed it in the House since Sheila Jackson Lee has passed and John Conyers, who originally proposed it, has passed. She's the third generation pushing this. And Senator Booker introduced the Senate companion bill. Is your representative/senator's name on the list? If not, have you called, emailed, or visited? I could see if you called and they said no, or they said something else, you being bitter. But if you haven't even put the pressure on them like we do, I don't understand what you're talking about. You thought they was.
All right. Let's pause for just a small little minute and say, I just want to clarify. HR 40 is not reparations. People will say, well, you need to study reparations in order to get reparations. And I would respond to that argument with HR 40 isn't even a study for reparations. HR 40 is a commission to study proposals for that. Okay? It's to study the proposals. Okay? Even before that is to study if there will be that. It is a study for the study. This is a pre-study. This is not the study to say, okay, well, we're going to support reparations and pay reparations, but we just got to kind of study it and analyze exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. I wouldn't even be opposed to that. If HR 40 was literally the study to say, okay, well, this is the payment plan. That's if it was that, okay, cool. If HR 40 was just the payment plan process and the qualification process, okay, fine. Yeah, that's cool. But HR 40 is not that. HR 40 is literally the pre-study to see if there will be a study to see if there will be reparations. That's what HR 40 is. So don't let nobody be all like, HR 40 is reparations. No, it is not at all. It is not. And the Democrats aren't even really about HR 40. They've had generations to pass HR 40, and they've been sitting on HR 40 because they don't really care about HR 40.
Gonna wake up one day and just do it on their own. We had to fight to get the right to vote and fight now to keep it. And we had to fight to get reparations. And let me tell you a secret. We ain't gonna get it fighting each other. Let's go to Lee in Washington, D.C. Lee, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Is Lee there?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, is this Mr. Sharpton?
Yeah.
Al Sharpton?
Yes.
Hi, my name is C. I'm calling from Washington State. I'm a disabled vet, and I've been following you mostly all my life.
Okay.
A few years behind you, sir.
All right.
But my question to you is that on the YouTube videos, there's a bits and pieces of the young man at your convention bringing up the frustration of reparations. Do you think right now is the time to hit on reparations, or should we strategically focus on the most important issue I feel is the voting right? Should we be placing people in these positions that you mentioned earlier at your convention?
Yeah, I think you hitting it right on the head. I think that we have to get voting rights to even have a serious talk about reparations, because you don't have the votes to get reparations if they take away the voting rights. I think it's not one or the other, it's one and the other.
Yes, sir. I just have a concern.
And I want to leave that there. First off, this is their thing. There will always be something. There will always be, well, I swear to God, we're just about to get reparations. We just need to focus on this. We need to focus on voting rights. Okay. And the quote unquote threat to voting rights, and they're being vague about that. Notice this is another Democrat tactic, because they could have voting rights. Remember, Biden had the House and the Senate his first 2 years. They could have had voting rights locked. Just locked, just tight, and just unmovable if they wanted to. They allow voting rights to be kind of on the fence and on thin ice. They allow that because every time they need votes, they can be like, guys, the voting rights, we just gotta protect the voting rights, and everything else, we just gotta talk about that later. We just gotta protect the voting rights. They allow that. It's a carrot on the stick. And the reason why they don't secure that and lock that and have that solidified is because of the reason why they need an issue to run on. And the issue that they've been running on for the last generations or so has been, guys, our voting rights. They're going after it again. We got to protect it. They do that every single time. Listen, I'm gonna say this about the voting rights. Okay, yeah, we need voting rights, but let me tell you something. Why? Let me specify. For what? For what? If we're not gonna get nothing for the vote anyway, you sitting up there fighting for the voting rights for what? For what? Why? So you can have a bunch of illegals flood into the community and take it over? Is that what we're fighting for? If we're not going to get reparations, if we're not going to get any type of hate crime law or any type of policy or legislation, what are we fighting for the voting rights for then? What is it for then? If we vote them in and it don't benefit us and benefit all of them, we might as well not have it. At that point, we might as well give it away. What use would it be to us to fight for that anyway? Well, we just gotta hit. No. Put reparations on the table, and then you can get all of it. See that? If you put reparations on the table, let's say voting rights is really doomed. Let's say you put that it is voting rights is on the table. Put that and reparations. Make reparations be the main course. Have reparations be the steak of the meal. And then you can put your mashed potatoes or your baked potato, your loaded potato, whatever the case is. You can put your little rice or broccoli, your asparagus, whatever side you like to have. You can put all of that stuff on the plate too. But the steak come first. Nobody go to a steakhouse to eat mashed potatoes. I like mashed potatoes just as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to a steakhouse to have mashed potatoes. I'm going to the steakhouse to eat steak. Okay? I mean, I like mashed potatoes, but I could really care less if there's mashed potatoes on the plate. I will want them to, but yeah, I'm not going to be all like, guys, where's the mashed potatoes? If you give me a plate and there's steak on there and ain't no mashed potatoes, I'm gonna be a little bit like, damn, I was looking for mashed potatoes. If you give me a plate and there's mashed potatoes on there and some broccoli and ain't no steak, I'm gonna have an issue. I'm going to be upset then. I can skip the broccoli. I can skip the mashed potatoes. I can skip the asparagus. I can skip the rice. I can skip the macaroni. I can skip all of the sides. Where is the steak? That's what I came here for. If you give me anything else, I'm going to be upset. What they're trying to do is they're trying to say, okay, well, let's focus on the mashed potatoes first before we get to the steak, because that's the most important thing. No. You could have it all if you put it all on a plate. But what they're trying to tell you is, well, we need to put the mashed potatoes on the plate first. And then after we get the mashed potatoes, then the steak will come after the mashed potatoes. No. Because then the steak is never going to get here. No, all of it now. No, we're not going to do that. No, absolutely not. That's how they try to order things up. What are you talking about? We need to secure voting rights first. Ain't no first besides reparations. No. Why are y'all not even putting it on the table or on the plate together? You can have all of it if you put it on a plate together, but they don't want you because they don't want to give the steak away. No. Ain't no, well, we got to get this first, then we got to get that. No, I need that steak or else I ain't coming. I need that steak or I ain't going.
Because young people we're in this society of the instant gratification through YouTube. They want it now, they skip the process, but they fail to understand that this is a lot of policy involved, a lot of, you know how it is. We have to go through the hoops. There is no shortcut to this.
Right.
So I wanted to reach out, and I also wanted to reach out to you to say that it's very important. I feel that we support our Black representation. You know, this put down I see on the YouTube with Kamala Harris and others, it's disturbing. It's further tearing our community apart. We're just not in a position to be going at each other's throat. And instead of putting these candidates down, how about we be in a solution to lift them up and bring some problem-solving answers to the table? This is all I have to say. Thank you so much.
No, we don't. Look, I don't put nobody down. Do I put people? I don't put nobody down. I don't put nobody down. I hold them accountable. That's a difference. Okay? All of that, man, y'all just out here putting people down and talking about people and slanting. No, we don't do that. We hold people accountable. If you decide to become an elected official, you are accountable to the community. And I'm going to hold you accountable. That's what we do here. We're not out here being all like, notice we don't even talk about people's look. Oh, you bald. Westmore's bald. He's a bald head dude. No, okay, you bald, you fat, you ugly. No. But your actions we will address. We will hold you accountable based off of your actions or inaction. So all of that, man, we got to stick together. No, what all of this quote unquote sticking together is okay. But there needs to be checks and balances with that. There needs to be a standard, okay? Even to unity, there's a standard to unity. Even to allyship, there's a standard to allyship. There's no just allyship, just be damned what they do. They're breaking the allyship. They're violating the treaty. They're violating the standard. They're betraying the group. And what we're supposed to do, what he's advising, is us not mention it so we can keep this persona of unity. And that's not going to work. People's lives is on the line. That's not going to work, us to keep the persona of unity and allyship and allow them to betray the community and exploit us. No. Oh, no, we're not going to do that at all. That's not what we're going to do. Let me get to the rest of the super chats. Then we're going to move on. All right. All right. Cynthia says, FBAs will not be abused, bamboozled, hoodwinked, lured, and used by the demo rats anymore. A change is definitely coming. ASAP. I fully agree with you, and it is here. All right. Deontay says, happy New Black Media Appreciation Month. B1 Black first to you, brother. Thank you very much. And then Zachary sends a super sticker. Thank you very much, Zachary. Appreciate you. And then we have Tobias says, always appreciate you, fam. B1 certified salute to you too, my good brother. And then we have Tom Slick says, Al, did she bail you out? Nope. Not listening to her and you, Al. Yeah, honestly. He's lost all credibility, and he's out here trying to save face by having people who he knows personally, all these people he knows personally, call him up and be all like, Al, you're right, man. You're really right. No, we're not going with that. We're not going with that. You lost credibility, dude. There's nothing you can do about it. But boy, I mean, we can't talk about Shills without talking about the biggest one. And when I say the biggest one, I do mean the largest. The largest in weight, that is. Gotta talk about him. Okay. Gotta bring him up. So hold on, where is he at?
Are running around completely confused about politics and how things get done in politics. Not how in your fictitious mind how it works.
There it is. Okay, sorry, y'all. There it is. All right. Boy, what the hell? Why is this? Oh, because of this part. Here we go. Y'all, first off, let me just give you a pre-boo. Oh, let me just get that. Hold on. I already know. Here we go, y'all. Brace yourselves.
But y'all pull control room. Talk to me. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to pull that video. I'm going to take a break and pull a video. Because I really need people to understand how this thing works. National, state, local. Because I think too many of our people are running around completely confused about politics and how things get done in politics. Not how in your fictitious mind how it works, how it actually gets done. So I'm gonna go to a break and I'll be right back. I'm Roland Martin, Unfiltered, the Black Star Network.
All right, he also does commercials too, so we're gonna skip past that. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go.
That was posted on the social media of a brother who asked this question. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and play it right here, y'all. Okay, all right. So listen to this. I just want y'all to just listen. Okay, so listen to this.
Briefly, we have to get going in one moment. Step up, tell us your name, and briefly, what's on your mind?
Hey, yo, as I look around this room, if you're 35 years old or younger, raise your hand. 4 people. So here's the thing. Y'all in trouble. Yesterday, you had Al Green up here talking about we need a Secretary of Reconciliation, and then that's going to include what he said was reparations, which, by the way, wasn't reparations. Reparations is more than a check, but the very first thing it is a check. And come this year during the midterms and in 2028, if you don't have our check, you won't get no vote. No check, no vote. Yeah, I know that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what's happening. All of y'all in here, with all due respect, you're beautiful, but you're old. You're not talking to the youth. You don't know how to talk to the youth. You try to tell us what to do. We're not having it no more. So if you want our vote, you got to come with our paper. We're not scared of Trump. We're not scared of anybody. Biden is a racist. Trump is a racist. Kamala is a racist. And if you don't have our money, you don't get our vote. Yeah, not. Who are you? Oh, all right, yeah, so like I was saying, I'm going to land my plane right there, but the Democrats are no better than the Republicans. No check, no vote. Y'all take care. And somebody give my man a tissue. He need a tissue.
All right, so I saw.
All right, first off, let's give a round of applause to our brother Melrose. Okay. Standing up for the lineage as he should be. We respect that. We appreciate that. But this is rolling. Here we go.
That, and a couple of people actually posted that on their Instagram accounts. And I've asked a very basic question. How do you get a tangible before the election? You don't. You get a promise. Someone can say, this is what I'm going to advocate for if you elect me. Okay, so let's just say someone running for a House seat says that I'm going to advocate for you for that reparations check. Got it. What then happens if that person running is a Democrat? Because I would see one Republican who supports reparations. What happens if that person loses? Who's advancing the issue? Now let me flip it. What happened if that person in your congressional race wins, but nationally Democrats don't win another 217 seats? That means that Republicans are in control of the U.S. House. Your bill will not even get to the floor. Okay. Let's say your person wins, and let's say Democrats win a majority of the House seats. Got it. You're going to need 218 people. So your person may say, power to the people, I support this. But you're going to need 217 more votes. And the other 217 votes don't come from all Black districts or majority Black districts. They don't. Okay, let's say your person wins, and let's say you do get 217 other votes. It now has to go to the United States Senate. You're going to need 60 votes. Right now, Republicans control the Senate. You ain't getting no check. Let's say Democrats win in November, and let's say they have a 51-49 lead, 51-49 majority. They're going to need 9 more votes to get to 60. Can you name me 9 Republicans who are going to support this issue? No, you can't. Let's say Democrats get to 53 votes. You're going to need 7 more votes. Can you name me the 7? No, you cannot. Because they don't support your issue. Okay, let's say your person wins the House. And they're Democrat, and Democrats control the House. And your person wins the Senate, and they control the Senate. So let's just say it gets 218 votes in the House and 60 votes in the Senate. Who then can sign or veto it? Donald Trump. What do you think he's going to do? It'll be a veto. This is what so many people don't understand. You can run for a school board seat and win, and you can lose every time. You know why? Because you don't have the votes. You got to count. When Ron Kirk was the mayor of Dallas, he always used to tell me, he's like, Roland, these people can hoot and holler all they want to. I know how to count votes. I know how many I need to get to be in the majority to win. He said, I got them in my pocket. And so when somebody stands up at one of those forums and says that, sounds great. But there's a reality that has to actually take place. And that, to me, is the mistake, Joe, that so many people make when we're talking about politics. They act like their person can do whatever they want, and they can't. They act like you can get these things done. And again, I get it. I just want to ask people very basic and fundamental question. If you know Republicans are trash and then you shitting on Democrats, please explain to me, where is your constituency to get what it is that you want? I'll wait. And Joe, that's why Schoolhouse Rock 2.0 is so important. When they played that, how do you make a bill?
I'm just a bill.
We just got to be honest with people to understand how this stuff works.
All righty then. All right. Listen, I let that whole thing play so we can give a thorough response to that. This is the typical argument that they have made when it comes to anything specifically for foundational Black Americans. Oh, you need this. You need these many votes. Okay, you have these many votes, but now you need these many votes. But now you need these many votes. But now you need this, and now you need this. And the Republicans aren't going to support it. So, oh my God, you need this, and now you need this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Okay, all right, fine. Oh, but now we need the presidency. Oh my God, damn. Well, if y'all need all of that, I just find it amazing how a bunch of illegals got anything. That's me. If it's this steep of a climb for reparations, I'm just mind blown at how millions of illegal immigrants that none of the Republicans ever supported at all, how they were able to flood in the community. That's a mystery to me. I don't get that. Not only were they allowed to come up in here, they were given money, they were given resources, they was given legislation of protection, they were given all of that stuff. I just don't understand. Maybe there's a lot about politics I don't really get. Because I can't see for the life of me how reparations need, you need the House and you need the Senate, you need all of the House, and everybody in Congress has to vote for it. And not just Black districts, everybody in the world really has to really support reparations. And otherwise it just won't work. I mean, it's just, you just don't have the votes. And it's the filibuster. Oh my God, it's just so unbreakable, so unbeatable. It's just, we can't get it done. Oh, wow. Well, damn. Oh, okay. How were you able to get the things done for the illegals then? Oh, well, that's different. It's just, I mean, that's different. Well, explain. I'm listening. Actually, I'm not just listening. I have this notepad, and I'm gonna be taking notes Explain to me, because we don't know. We're simple Simons, as he's going to call us. We don't know how that works. So explain to me how reparations is. It seems like it's this losing battle, this impossible monster to defeat, this thing that just can't get done, this steep uphill, this 90-degree climb. We're climbing up a mountain for reparations, and we need all of this stuff. Is going to take 100 years. Explain how we're able to do that. And y'all was sitting up there giving a bunch of illegals CDLs and letting them drive trucks on the expressway. Just explain that to me, because I don't get that part of politics. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You see that? All this long explanation of explaining and rationalizing why they can't do anything. First off, they're not even talking about supporting it. They will lock the government down, have a whole government shutdown. You got TSA agents not being paid because they don't want to fund ICE. I'm talking about they bending over backwards to get ICE defunded and ICE prosecuted and all that. You ain't seen that type of energy when it comes to reparations at all, ever. So I'm just explain to me, because y'all get everything done that y'all really want to get done, but reparations, oh, you need this and 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 this, and then still you gotta wait for the bill, and then still you gotta wait for the vote, and then still you gotta wait for the poll, and then still you gotta wait for the damn. We got an obstacle. Why did they get a straight way through? We standing in line. Y'all relying on us. We standing in line. We all the way at the back of the line, and we seeing them. These people who speak no English. These people come into the country with a fast pass, and we sitting up there just looking at them go past the line. We're like, damn, hold on. You told me I had to wait in line. Oh, that's different. And he just needs to get in right now. What? No. Let's get to the super chats, and then we're gonna get back to it because his panel's talking out the side of their neck. So we gotta get to that. Tom Slick says we're not doing that again. The Democrats had the House and the presidency, and we get nothing. Yeah, and here's the thing, all of that, we need the House, we need a lot of the House, we need the Senate, we need that, and the presidency, we need that too. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, fine. We gave y'all that. Remember, a few years ago, we gave y'all that. What happened? What happened when y'all had that? What happened when y'all had the House? What happened when y'all had the Senate? What happened when y'all had the presidency all at the same time? What happened then? That's what you guys have been saying has been the holdup, and y'all had it. So what happened? Okay, yeah. Okay. For my people says, that's what exactly did the Democrats do for us when they had the House, Senate, and presidency? Exactly. That's what I want to know. They had it. All of that. Well, we can't get it done without it. Okay, you have it. Well, I mean, damn. Hold on for a second. That's how they get. That's exactly how they get. Real Cade Beauty says Roland is FOS. Okay. He did not forget that illegals have gotten checks and our resources while Trump has been in office. Yeah, that's true. And we're going to talk about that. We have given them the House, Senate, and the presidency. Democrats are FOS. Yeah, that's very true. They still getting stuff now. They make it seem like the Democrats are absolutely powerless. They're still rolling out money. They're still rolling out. First off, even if they don't give them as much, they're still doing stuff for them now. Today, the Democrats are not powerless. They make it seem like if they don't have absolute power, they have none. And that's their excuse to not do anything for us. Oh, we don't have the House, the Senate. What do you expect us to do? The same thing y'all doing for them? They still getting stuff on a federal and local level. So don't play that. Don't play that. And the stuff that they not getting, y'all willing to shut the government down for. So don't play that.
Yeah, for sure. I remember taking my daughter in the 8th grade up to Capitol Hill when they were doing the 8th grade trip, and I set up a meeting with Pete Aguilar, and I've been playing Schoolhouse Rock all her life and didn't know whether or not she was getting it. And we walked up the stairs, and it was that moment. She looked around and she said, "This is it. This is I'm Just a Bill." And I'm Just a Bill talks about things passing in both houses. It talks about things going to the president and whether or not the president vetoes it and what has to happen. And so, it's all laid out in the words. He hopes he becomes a bill. He hopes he becomes a law someday. He hopes and prays that he will, but today he's still just a bill. And so in order to be a bill that becomes a law, you need numbers. Okay. It's all about numbers. And so that attitude that was espoused from the brother is the reason why we lose national elections, despite having the issues and the numbers to actually win those elections. Some folks still coming out of a bag because they call Kamala the cop, because somebody was involved in being a prosecutor, or because this person didn't show up on every issue the way they needed to show up. People that knew. I mean, I met Obama in 1996 in law school. He came and spoke one day, and he was very, very progressive in terms of what he wanted to do. But there's the practicality, whether you're talking about being in Illinois, where there's a whole lot more farmland in big cities, or whether you're talking about being in the United States Congress and being president or being senator, et cetera. You got to understand how to count votes. You got to understand where votes come from. And you got to win in order to actually accomplish much of anything. And so when he lays this out and people go for that, now the only thing that you have assured is that you will lose and you will continue to lose. So you're going to stay mad, you're going to be broke or whatever it is that's got you mad. Nothing's going to change because you're not doing anything. Progressive people over the years, Max Waters, Ron Dellums, all those guys knew how to count votes. So you got to understand how to count and do what you need to do to win. And once you get power, then you do something with it.
And here's the deal, Winconi. What the
brother? No. Here's the thing. Let's bring this up. When Donald Trump was running his first term, remember, y'all, when he was talking about we're going to build a wall at the southern border? We're going to build this great big wall. We're going to build the wall. Remember that. That was a big thing. Building the wall, right? Okay. That didn't happen, at least the way he made it seem like it was going to happen. He made it seem like this was going to be the Great Wall of China, just taller. He made it seem like it was going to happen. That didn't happen, okay? When he got in there was not the support from Congress and all of that for that to happen. Logistically, it didn't happen. However, Donald Trump, he always advocated for that, and he made policies that was pretty similar to the idea in the energy of building this wall. Anything he could do about the border issue, anything he could do about immigration, he did do. And if he was stopped, he was going to get on the microphone and saying, hey, they stopping me, they sabotaging me, they not passing this, they not passing this. This is what has given at least his supporters the trust in him that if he says, I'm about this, he is about that, at least on certain issues as far as immigration. Okay, whether they stop you or not is a different subject. The thing is that these Democrats aren't even being stopped. They're just not doing it. It's not like they're in there and they're fighting this battle and then they ultimately lose. That would be one thing, but they're not even in there fighting the battle. They're not even in there advocating for it. They're not even in there trying to pursue it. Whether you're all like, well, I mean, when they get in there, you got to understand they're probably going to get stopped. They're going to get shut down. Okay, fine. Get shut down then. That's your job. That is your job. If you run on something and you get in there, you got to continue to fulfill your promises, make good on your promises. If you get shut down, then well be. Fine. Get shut down then. That's your job. Your job isn't to be like, well, I mean, it's probably going to be hard, so I'm just not going to do it. That's not your job. And the thing is that you can't even give the Democrats the credit of getting shut down because they don't bring it up. The same way they didn't bring it up in California. They won't bring it up. They're not even going to bring it up during the campaign. If they're not even going to bring it up during the campaign, it is insane to think that they're going to bring it up once they get in office. And we keep seeing they don't bring it up. So all of that, well, you got to understand, they get shut down. They get shut down. No, they not getting shut down as far as reparations are concerned because they're not bringing it up. They're shutting down their own reparations, as we've seen in California.
Said about there not being more young people in the audience, he's right. But the data also tells me this. The people that actually vote at the highest are people 65 older. The people
we know that,
but people who vote the least are 18-35. So he's absolutely right. Is he right about how we need to be engaging with young voters? He's absolutely right. But we also need people, regardless of their age, to understand how politics works. And the reality is, if you do not have the votes, if you do not have the power, if you do, you talk about House, who controls.
Before we go over there, before he goes there, there is absolutely nothing wrong with elders being in the room, okay? Nobody's trying to say elders shouldn't be a part of the conversation. They should be a part of the conversation. Nobody's saying they shouldn't be in the room or they shouldn't speak. They shouldn't have a voice and weigh their concerns. Nobody is saying that. But if the room is strictly full of them, then you have a problem. If the room is full of them and not full of the youth, or at least a little bit, at least 50-50, nobody's saying that everybody there should be younger than 35. But if it's not even a third, not even a third of the room is younger than 35, and that's the future, then that's an issue. That's what he's trying to say, because they're living from a different time. They have different issues. The reason why them being all a certain age is an issue is because they're looking at life from a different generation and a different perspective. They have different issues, okay? They're talking about retirement plans and Social Security. Somebody 20 to 35 is not talking about their retirement plans and Social Security and all that. So yeah, there's a list of different issues there, which is why they need to be represented. And the reason why there was not a lot of young people there, and you don't see a lot of young people engaged, and maybe that is true that older people do turn out and are more reliable for voting. But the reason you're seeing that is because politicians do not advocate for youth issues. They don't. They're advocating for the reliable vote, which is the older demographic of people. And I'm not saying that they should be ignored. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying their issues shouldn't be brought up and they shouldn't be advocated for. But the thing is that they don't want to make any promises or appeals to the youth, which is what their problem is.
Who controls the House? Who controls the Senate? Dems or Republicans? Okay, fine. Take politics out of it. Take party out of it. If you have a school board and you got 9 people and it's 3 of y'all who are supporting something and 6 against, that's simple math. You lose because you need 5. And I spend more time talking to people who somehow believe, Win Cooney, that there's this other thing out there, that there is this other mystical, mythical, political thing that exists in America where you can get stuff passed without Republicans or Democrats or without parties or without the existing political infrastructure. And I just sit here and I just look at people and I go, can you please share with me how you can get, and every time I always say, Win Cooney, give me your issues. Tell me how you're going to get this passed in order for it to actually happen. And they go real quiet when I ask that real basic question.
Because at the end of the day,
No. Okay, here's the thing. You might not have all of the votes you need. What they have done is they have set this up in politics where the Republicans nor Democrats have absolute power. Okay, fine. For instance, going back to the last government shutdown, the Democrats wanted Medicaid and Medicare and other stuff about ICE and all that stuff. Okay, they shut the government down twice, even though they did not have the House and they didn't have the Senate. The thing is that they're saying, if you do not agree to our terms when it comes to this legislation, we're not going to give you the votes. We're not going to compromise. By them refusing to compromise, the Republicans can't get anything done either. So this forces the Republicans to cooperate. This is what makes people have to cooperate on the opposite side, because you need some people of the other party to agree to your terms in order for any type of legislation to get passed, whether you're Democrat or Republican. The government is set up that way. The same energy that the Democrats use to shut the government down for ICE, for Medicaid, for Medicare, is the same energy we should be seeing them use when it comes to reparations, yet they don't. The governments will literally have TSA agents go weeks without being paid. They will literally have a whole all federal agents go weeks and weeks and weeks, months without a paycheck. The food stamp, SNAP, shut down all of that because they want specific issues in the legislation, in the future bills. Okay? So let's not make it seem like, well, whoever has the majority power rule. No, not necessarily. Because we can say, okay, well, if you don't agree to this, and if you're not going to pass what we want you to pass, you're not going to pass nothing. You're not passing anything. And they've done that with ICE. They've done that with Medicaid. They've done that with Medicare. So we're not going to sit up there and act like there's nothing they can do if they don't have all the votes. We see what they can do when they have a minority if they really want to. But what we're seeing is that they don't want to. They don't even bring it up. And we keep saying that. They don't even bring that issue up.
I think, Roland, people forget that America is, in fact, a democracy, meaning we have to vote for all of these things, right? As bad as the political climate is currently and has gotten, we still are a voting nation, right? So people can't just pass bills on a whim, like you mentioned, right? And as someone who is part of that age demographic that he mentioned, it's extremely concerning, right? Because I talk to a lot of my colleagues and my peers, and a lot of people don't understand rudimentary things about the political process in this country. And that's why I think organizations like this organization, Black media, organizations like my own politics, we're the ones who are really trying to be on the front lines to teach this information, because unfortunately, it's not something that's even being taught in schools at this point, right, Roland? So we have to be really critical about that. But what this young man was saying, like you said, he had points. Yes. Does the old guard need to engage with young people? Absolutely. Do more people in my age group need to go out to the polls and cast a ballot? Yes. I think social media has gotten us into this analysis paralysis where people think that if they sit online all day and go back and forth on Twitter, that's actually going to achieve something. But what actually achieves something is voting. A lot of people don't know that baby boomers are the ones that are consistently making decisions in this country, and it's because they're the ones that are showing up at the polling precinct. So it doesn't matter if the older generation continues to die out. That doesn't matter if they're the ones who continue to show up at the polls. Young people, and I'm talking to myself right now, we need to make sure that every election we're casting an educated and informed vote. And the other thing about this young man's ideology that's wrong is
the thing is that older people, and I'm not trying to diss the elder people, but the older people who are stuck on the Democrats, right? They're just voting out of tradition. They're not voting because, hey, we really need this policy or whatever the case is. They're going to vote just because it's an election. They will vote down ballot. They don't vet the politicians. How many street interviews have we seen where they all like, well, I mean, it's a Democrat, so they're just going to get my vote. They don't do their due diligence. We see younger people going to these task force, and we see younger people actually pressing them with their cameras and all of that stuff. You don't see older people do that. The older people are just going to vote just cause. The issue is the younger people aren't doing that anymore. That's the growing trend. Nobody's going to be all like, well, it's an election, so we might as well just get up there and vote. That's the problem. It's not that younger people aren't engaged. Younger people are very engaged and have always been engaged and will always be engaged. But as far as voting, we're not just gonna vote out of tradition or just because it's an election. You have to actually give a reason. There has to be some type of policy or legislation that younger people can get behind. And a lot of this is not even just younger people either. A lot of people of all ages are off that Democrat plantation. So you got to give people a reason. People are not going to just vote out of tradition, because let's be honest, the people who are just voting out of tradition, they're not getting anything for their vote either. They're just voting. They're not getting anything out of their vote like that.
The way to do it is to vote and then hold people accountable.
No,
you ask for something to...
Oh, I hate when they say that. Oh my God. I hate when they say that. It's like a scratching a chalkboard. I hate it. What do you mean? Vote, then hold them accountable. What do you mean by that? No. What are you gonna do? And then they keep showing you every time you vote and they get in office, they don't pick up the phone for you no more. Remember that with Biden? And then the second he got on the phone, he said, hey, Hispanics are the issue right now. Y'all need to fall in line. No, you don't sit up there and vote, then hold them accountable. What type of dumb... No. That's why you're not getting nothing. How did that work with Ice Cube and Joe Biden? Don't worry, we're going to vote, then we're going to have the conversation. How did that work? Vote, then hold them accountable.
Get done, you touch head and agree with that candidate, and then you observe him for however long he's in office to see if he can get that done. And if he doesn't get it done, then you can vote him out. But like you said, you can't ask for something.
If he doesn't get it done for however long he's in office, he's already done. You ain't going to vote him out. He's just not going to get reelected is what you mean. He or she will serve a whole term. It's not like, man, if we don't like you, we're going to vote you out. That's not how that works. Once you vote them in, they're going to serve a whole term. They're going to serve a whole damn term. And if they run again, they won't get reelected, potentially. That's your big threat. Okay, I'm going to give you a pass, but I'm not going to give you a second pass if you don't do it right the first time. What? Okay.
Something and expect to get it before Election Day. Unfortunately, that's called bribery, and it's illegal. So we got to have people... We have to have them in the room to have those discussions, make those promises, make sure that those elected officials, once they get your vote, are earning that vote. But you got to make sure that they get into office first.
Well, and again, I need people to understand the difference between...
I just got to breathe. As you can see, I'm very irritated. I just got to breathe. Okay, I'm ready. I had to calm down. I had to breathe, y'all. I just had to. I'm sorry, y'all. My bad. The whole, we're going to get them in, and then we're going to hold that. I'm sorry. That just sends me to the next level. I had to breathe, man. Oh, look at Roland's face. Lord have mercy. Buck in his eyes like always.
Rhetoric and facts. So this same Yahoo, FBA, Lex Vortex, these people get paid to deceive you Negroes. Goddamn, wake up. Okay, FBA Lex Vortex, please explain to me again what we said that was factually incorrect. Matter of fact, Lex Vortex, we'll give you the phone number to call in. Do you want to get embarrassed? Because I will embarrass you publicly. See, this right here is what I'm talking about.
When have you ever seen Roland Martin do a call-in? Roland Martin doesn't do call-ins. He don't do that. Don't. I'll embarrass you publicly. Roland, you don't do call-ins for that reason. for that reason. You ain't gonna embarrass nobody. You don't do debates. You don't do call-ins. You don't let people speak to you. You block anybody who disagrees with you on Twitter. So don't do that. Oh yeah, I embarrass you. I'll do a call-in. Oh, did you drop the number? No.
Y'all. See, I need people watching and listening to understand that there are people who say these things and they use a lot of words and they're very passionate and very emotional. And you're like, yeah, right on. Then you go, but did he or she say anything? No, they didn't. And I also want y'all to notice something. I want y'all to notice that all of the people who yell, holler, and scream, you bootlicking, you buck dancing, you shilling, y'all notice they always have lots of smoke for Democrats, but they ain't never got smoke for Republicans. Here's what I also notice. Why, if you believe, okay, so that brother said, Trump racist, Biden racist, Kamala, he didn't pronounce her name right. She was racist, they all racist. Okay. So who's going to give you a check? What I'll say to every single person who's complaining about this and they're tossing names, why are you not organizing and mobilizing? No, I don't mean a rally. I don't mean a get together. I'm talking about if
you see him throwing shots at the rally, you see that? He threw shots at the reparations rally. You see how he did that? You see that? Because they like to be all like, y'all never outside. Y'all never outside. Y'all never doing nothing. Y'all never organizing. Y'all never doing nothing. Now, we've been to reparations task force before, in California, in New York, all of that. I've gone to City Hall in Chicago. We've had multiple reparations rallies, all of that. But the argument is y'all don't organize nothing and y'all don't ever be nowhere and y'all don't ever do anything. It's all of that, right? That's the argument. We never do anything. We never be in anything. I don't mean a rally. No, we be doing something. And this is the reason all of the things that we have done in the last few years is very effective, because all of them know the issue now. And the community knows the issue now because of us, not because of Roland. Because if it was up to Roland, reparations would not even be a subject. Now, of course, he's a tether, so of course it wouldn't be a subject. But him and his panel, reparations wouldn't even be a subject. If it was up to Al Sharpton, reparations wouldn't even be a subject. It's only a subject because of us, because of me, because of you. That's the reason why reparations is the subject. So I don't want to hear the whole where y'all not doing anything about it. Y'all not organizing.
you believe that you have a message to reach young voters, why are you not organizing and mobilizing them? Please show me the data. Please show me in what city you're doing this. Please show me how you are proactively engaged in the electoral process.
Oh, okay. And he's acting like this is some type of flex. Roland, we're doing the same thing you call yourself doing. How about that? How about, oh, look at his eyes, boy. Look at his eyes, y'all. He really think he got himself one. He thought that was a touchdown slam dunk. That was a touchdown slam dunk. No, it's not. Roland, what do? You call yourself a journalist. You say you do media. Yet anytime somebody does media or journalism that goes against your narrative, that calls the Democrats out and holds them accountable, you say that doesn't matter or that doesn't mean anything. Why are you complaining? Why, Roland, all you do is complain about Donald Trump. All you do is complain about Donald Trump and the Republican Party and all of that, and yet you make it seem like you're out here doing something and moving the needle forward and pushing and all of that stuff. Yet all of the other people, oh, you mean that stupid little YouTube, the same YouTube you're on, dude? The same YouTube that you're on. Oh, your stupid little channel, the same channels that you have, dude. Doing the same thing that you claim you're doing, that you need all this respect for, and you're advocating for the people and all of this stuff. Yet when we do it, it don't count. When we do it, we're not mobilizing. We mobilize, it's just online. The same thing you're doing. His online advocacy, oh yeah, that's really doing it for the black community. You're really standing up to the people. But yet when we do the same thing online and actually are being more effective because we're actually changing people's minds and informing people, unlike him. But when we do it, it's, man, y'all just really at your house and y'all just be in your basement on your computer and laptop. Y'all really not doing anything. What? Okay. All right, but he is.
I'll wait. But see, here's what I'm not going to do. I am not going to spend precious time yelling, hollering, screaming, sitting and foaming at the mouth about something, but I'm not offering people a pathway to actually get it done. And I fundamentally believe that unlike white people, unlike Latinos, unlike Asian Americans, unlike Native Americans, we got a whole bunch of loud, Simple Simon Negroes who love to spout things and love to yell and holler things. They ain't got no plan. They ain't got no action. Bumping gums is not a plan. Bumping gums is not a plan. And I'm telling you, if you let these folks gain root here, oh, we'll be doomed. Because the facts are the facts. If you do not organize and mobilize people and drive them to polls, and when the election is over, you drive them to city council meetings and school board meetings and county commissioner meetings and state house and the federal, you don't do any of that, everything that you claim you want as a tangible, you are guaranteed to never get because you never organized and mobilized. And if you are just spouting, hoping somebody else do it, then you're actually part of the problem because you're just talking while others are acting.
If I was on the phone debating him, what would the question I would ask be? The question that I would ask is just this one question. What organizing did the illegal immigrants do to get all of the resources from the same party that you're advocating for? Because maybe he's right. Maybe he is right. Maybe it's the fact that we're not organized enough. And all we do is yell and scream on the internet and all of that. And we just don't get it. Okay, fine. There's always room for improvement. I get it. So just let me know so we can move forward and we can get it done. Let me know the organizing that we're required to do. Let me know the organizing that all of these illegal immigrants got. Let me know how they get their resources. Just let me know that. Because that's the reason we don't get anything. Oh, we're not organized. He says that all the time. We're not organized. You got to get them in the House. You got to get them in the Senate. You got to get the presidency. Then you got to go to the city council meetings. Then you got to go to the school board meetings. Then you got to organize. Then you got to vote. Then you got to have a poll. Then you got to go to church on Sunday. Then you got to go. Okay, all right. Okay, we're going to do all that stuff. I just want to know where the fast pass is, because they got the illegals got a fast pass. So I just tell me where the fast pass ticket line is so I can buy me one of them. Tell me, just explain to me how they're able to leapfrog over the line and get all these resources. And we got to do this American Ninja Warrior obstacle course. We got to run up a wall, and then we got to climb up a rope, and then we got to bounce off different steps and stuff like that. Explain to me how we got to go through this obstacle course, and they're on a cruise all the way to the finish line. I just want to know how I can get what they got. That's all I want to know. What organizing did they do to get what they got? That's my question. If I was on the phone with him, that would be my question. Because all it is, man, how we going to do this if we don't do this? How we going to do this if he's not in office? How we going to do this if he don't do this? How we going to do this? I don't know. How did they get it? Calling that simple assignments. Okay, all right, fine. You got the answers. We don't got the answers. Tell me how they got it, and we're going to do exactly what they did. Exactly what they did. Tell me how they got it. I will organize the exact same way they did to get it. How did they get it? Because they didn't vote for nobody. They didn't go to no poll. They didn't organize anything. They didn't fundraise anything. They didn't even have an online voice like we did to advocate for anything. Okay? They didn't go to no city council meeting. They didn't go to they didn't do nothing, no task force or nothing. Yet they got all of this stuff. And we got to do all of these obstacles and barriers and puzzles and trap rooms and stuff. No, what do you, okay. Tell me how they got all of these illegals, got all of that. And we got to go through all of these. We got to backflip through rings of fire like this is a circus and walk on a tightrope. Tell me that. Tell me that. When they sit up there and tell you all of, because this is their attempt to save face. This is their attempt to save face. Well, you know, you can't get them to do it because you need this and you need this and you need this and you need this. Here's how you respond. Okay, fine. Don't even argue. Fine, got you, cool. What exactly did the illegal immigrants do to get all these resources? The resources that have been confirmed that they have. Remember when they had their task force, their not task force, when they had their hearings, when they had the governors, the mayors and the governors there with their hearings. I was at the one that they had the mayors there with Brandon Johnson, with he was the mayor at the time, with Eric Adams, the mayor of Baltimore, the mayor of Baltimore, and the mayor of Denver, Colorado. All of them there. And they were writing off all of the receipts. I'm talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars just given to them in resources and other things. Police told to keep hands off of them. Law enforcement just giving them a slap on the wrist, if that. So they were just let go. They were given a pretty much America is yours pass. So these are things that have been confirmed. This is not something that we're just making up, something that we just think that they're getting. We've seen receipts of all of the stuff they get. We see receipts of all of the government assistance and food programs and SNAP and all of that stuff. They were flexing. They were bragging about it. They were at City Hall calling us lazy. Y'all remember that? They was out here flexing on us. So what you talking about? How did they get it? And now you're gonna, in order to save face, you be all like, well, they can't do it because y'all don't understand politics. It's all of that. Y'all don't understand politics. Y'all don't understand this. We got to get this, and then 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 no. Scratch my whole thing. Scratch it. It's off the table. Take everything. I'll just take my arm and bam, it's off the table. Okay, fine. New plan. We're gonna follow how they got it. All of what we doing has been wrong. We threw it off the table. It's gone. We're not doing that no more. We're just going to follow how the illegals did. That's the plan. Whatever they did to get all of these $1 million of resources just coming into the country illegally, can't vote, don't have no citizenship, none of that. We're just gonna follow them. And see if the same party that gave it to them will give it to us, huh? How about we do that, Roland? How about we do that? Yeah. So the Democrats can give resources. All of that, the Democrats get their hands tied behind their back. Excuse is over with. They sit up there and lie to us all the time. Oh, they can't. I mean, even if they wanted to, they just don't have the votes, and they don't have the power, and they don't have the polls, and they don't have the support. They didn't have the support for illegals. There wasn't a damn Republican in support of none of that. A lot of Democrats weren't even in support of that. None of the people were in support of that, but they were able to get that done. All it is abundance of support, absolute support they need for us. Oh, no, that's an excuse, and we're not going for that no more. You trying to save face, but don't worry, we won't let you. Shout out to Mayor Rose for calling him out. Yeah, we won't let you get away with that. Let me get to the super chats. All of that up American Ninja Warrior, y'all know about that show where folks be jumping on different steps and climbing through, and you gotta use rope and swing your way across some gap and all that and climb up a wall and all that. We got to do that to press a button for reparations. And they just sit up there and be given resources on the silver platter. And we got to look at them out of breath. We're like, how did they get these resources on a silver platter like this? I had to literally jump through an alligator pit and climb up a wall. What are you talking? Why I got to do that? No. Come on. Well, you can't get reparations until you defeat the dragon. Damn, I gotta fight. I gotta beat a dragon. They make it seem like this is some type of princess movie. Well, in order to get to the princess, you gotta beat the dragon first. We gotta beat the dragon. I gotta beat a dragon. Ain't no princess outside of this castle. I gotta beat this dragon. All of these other folk got a princess. All of these other folk happily married in their big old castles. And I'm the only one who got to take a sword and a shield and fight this dragon. Why? Well, that's just the way it is. No, man, damn. Now, give me a princess without the dragon. I don't need that all up in there. Then I got to climb up these steps. No. It's a whole, we got to fight a dragon to get reparations. And they just giving reparations. It's princesses for everybody else but us. We the ones got to fight a dragon for it. No, I'm cool. Shout out to Life After the Flesh. Appreciate that. Appreciate your support. And then Friedman Fortified says Dems never want to end filibuster when they are in power. That is very true. Also, Biden could have appointed more Supreme Court justices. We know Civics, Roland. Yeah. They allow excuses. They literally have things that they can solidify, and they deliberately don't do that. They don't solidify things because they want things to be a recurring issue, and they want those to be a recurring issue because they need something to run on, because they know if they solve these issues, then what's left is their agenda, and they know they can't run on their agenda because people are going to reject that. So they're running on issues that they never intend on really getting solved. All right. That's the thing. Let me also shout out the Cash Apps. I appreciate the Cash Apps from Walter. Shout out to you, Walter. And then from Margaret. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Super chats. Thank y'all. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. This is something that I want y'all to understand, the talking points going forward. Okay. Let's review them again. Let's circle back and review the talking points again. The whole Kamala isn't black. Okay. She's not. She's just not black. All of that black woman stuff. She's not a black woman. She's no more black than Trump is black. Okay. I mean, at that point, she's not black. She's just not black. She just stop even bringing that up. But let's say that if she's not black, If she is black, she's not FBA. If she is black, she's not FBA. And if here's the thing, okay, fine. Here's the thing. If she is black, then that means she needs to support reparations more, doesn't it? Right. If we're not even going to argue on her being black for the sake of the argument. If she is black, wouldn't that mean that she supports reparations more? Shouldn't she be advocating for reparations then if she is really black? How are y'all gonna black, and that's a sister girl, and that's a sister, and we got to support the black woman, and we got to support the sisters, and we want black girls to rule, and black girl magic, and all that stuff. Sister, black girl, black girl. Okay. If she's a sister and a black girl like that, shouldn't she be advocating for reparations? Right? We should expect more from her, really. If she's a sister, we should expect more loyalty and commitment to our community, right? So what are you talking about? Why would you even bring that up that she's a sister? Why would you even bring that up that she's black? If we can't expect more from the black woman than we can from a white woman, what does it matter if she's black then? She might as well be white at that point. Because her being black does nothing but just help optics at that point. If she's not going to be any more pro-black than a non-black woman, her being black doesn't matter. That's the point. You bringing it up as if her being black should automatically give her anything. She's not, but for the sake of the argument. What would be the difference if she was black or Indian if the policies don't reflect her being black? That's the point. Going on to the whole, you got to understand the civics with the House and the Senate and the presidency and all of that stuff. Okay, well, fine. I give you that. Tell me how the immigrants got anything. Because they didn't vote for it. They didn't put nobody in office. They didn't vote against nobody. How did they get it? Just tell me how they got it. Notice, they can't say anything when you say that. Watch, it will shut them down immediately. How did they get it? All of this money. How did they get it? Not only were they just allowed to come in here and just ram through the cities, but they got money for it. So how did they get it? If the Democrats need all of the House and the Senate, and then the Republicans not going to support it, the Republicans didn't support the illegals, y'all got that through, didn't you? Y'all got that through for 4 years. Even when y'all didn't have the House and the Senate, y'all were still able to get that through. So tell me how that worked. See, these are the talking points that you can argue. It will shut them down every single time. They'll say, well, how are you supposed to get reparations if you don't vote? You can't get reparations and not vote. You got to put somebody in office that support reparations. Okay, well, I need to know they support reparations before I put them in office first. Don't you think? Because they're very bold and clear and transparent about their stances on all other issues. But yet when it comes to reparations, we're supposed to vote for them, then find out if they for it? Huh? What sense does that make? Y'all don't tell no other community that. They make it a point to say, I stand with you, and I stand for this issue, and I stand for this issue, and I stand for this issue. Nobody has to find out after the fact. Tell me why we got to find out if they for reparations after the fact. Well, I can't say it right now. Just wink, when I get off. No. No. Need to know. Today, right now, before you leave, right now, tell me right now. All of that we finding out after the fact if you for reparations, and then they can be like, well, I mean, I never really said I was. Okay. You think you can get away with that forever? No. Okay, y'all had a good run. I give y'all that. Y'all were able to manipulate and exploit the community for a long time. Okay, y'all had a good run. It's over with now. Yeah, that's over with. Y'all thinking we gonna find out if y'all for the black folk after the fact is over with. Oh, just vote them in just cause. No. the other point they bring up, but what about Donald Trump? What about MAGA? What about it? What about it? What about him? Donald Trump is ruining America. It's terrible. He's going to destroy us all. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But can you tell me what Donald Trump is doing against black people that wasn't being done before Donald Trump got in office? What is Donald Trump doing against black people that was not being done before he got in office? Police killing people, black people losing their houses, lack of resources and education, lack of job opportunities. Like, what is the issue exactly? That was not an issue before he got in. What issue did he make that we didn't have before he got in? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. For us specifically. I'm not trying to hear no DEI or nothing like that. I'm trying to hear for us specifically as foundational black Americans. Tell me that. Okay? See, when you argue like that, they will get shut. They will say, oh, you're just a Trump supporter, MAGA, moron, simpleton, idiot. That's what they'll say. Because they can't defeat that. When you bring it up like that, they can't. It will eliminate all of their arguments. It's over with. It will be over with for them. Trying to tell you. That's how you get them, y'all. That's how we gonna get them. But I want to know what y'all think. So I need y'all to leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think. How do you think we're gonna get them, y'all? If they call in, here's what we're gonna do. Anytime they have a thing now, because Al Sharpton, if I would have known this earlier, that Al Sharpton has a thing where he has a call in, I think we should call in. Not to harass, because we don't do that. But I think we should call in to raise the issue. If you want to open up the phone lines and you want people to call in, Al Sharpton, don't worry. From now on, I'm going to be on it. I missed you by this much because I only was able to tune in when you were closing. Okay, fine. But next time, I'm going to be I didn't even know you had that thing. Okay, all right. Challenge accepted. Next time you have it, I'm going to be on it. I'm going to watch. And I'm going to call in. And then I'm going to let it be known to the community. If y'all want to call in, y'all can call in and we'll have a conversation with you. Roland threatening to open. Oh, we'll have you call in. Roland, what's your number? I'll talk to you. I'll talk to Roland. I'll have a conversation with him on the phone. I'll have a conversation with him recorded live. If you that bold, Roland, I'll talk to you. Don't run now. I ain't seen you talk to. I've never seen you debate nobody. I've never seen you. You don't have a call in. You don't go live on any type of social media where people can call you. You don't. I have never seen Roland go live on, whether that be TikTok, whether that be Twitter, whether that be YouTube, or any type of social media platform where people can call in and address him directly. Hell, even radio was vetted and he don't even do that. So, okay. All we're going to say is we're going to watch. Now, when Democrat Shills, when they call in and all that stuff, we have a conversation, they get shut down. Let's see if y'all do the same thing. Challenge accepted. I challenge Roland to have a call-in thing just one time. And let it be known. Have a call-in thing the whole time. Have your little panel there, too, for backup. Since you're that bold. And see if you can educate everybody, since you're so much smarter than everybody. Let's see that. Let's see. Need y'all to do me another favor if you guys can. Y'all don't have to if y'all don't want to, but I encourage y'all to, because it does help. It does support. Hit that like button. Over here. It's over here. Hit that like button. Okay. Hit that subscribe button. And hit the notification bell. All right. All right. Y'all make sure y'all do that. If y'all didn't know, the camera's reverse. So when I be all like, hit that button right there, it's actually over here. I'm seeing it differently. It's on the screen. It's right there. I'm like, do it that way. So it's the thing. It's the thing. All right, y'all. But this was a good one. Shout out to y'all. Once again, shout out to our It's done. The ship is sunk. It's like a captain. You know how in the Titanic, when the captain's like, throw it overboard, they're throwing couches and furniture and all of the supplies overboard trying to save the ship. And they all like, throw this overboard, throw that overboard. No, the ship is done. Throw yourself overboard. The ship is over with. Ain't no amount, there's no weight you can throw off this ship that's going to keep this ship from sinking. The Democrat ship is done. That's over with. Y'all sitting up there trying to clear this up and no. No, the ship is over with. It's done. It's done. And y'all gonna go down with the ship too. That's what's gonna happen. And we're gonna be here. We're gonna be thriving, supporting each other. We're gonna make it to 2020. We're gonna make it to the midterms, and we're gonna beat you in that. We're gonna make it to the next presidential election, and we're gonna beat you in that because we winners, and that's what we do, y'all. That's what we do. Shout out to y'all. All right. Black empowerment is what we do here. And with that, we will always win. So as that being said, Black first, and my brothers and to my sisters, I appreciate y'all sincerely. I honestly do. All right. I will see you all soon. Y'all take care and y'all stay blessed.